Okay, I really had a really strange night at work, and I guess it was something happened that really bothered me, and I guess I just need to get it off my chest. Just a lot has changed over the years. My job, where I work at, I do security over at the LGBT Center over in the Hollywood area. And, I've been with the company for 17 years. And man, I tell you, when I first started working there, you know, uh, I had some crazy days, getting adjusted, and things were just so different. It's been 17 years, and when I first started working there, it was unusual. It was there's just been a change. Things have just gotten more and more extreme. And man, I tell you, I my viewpoints have changed on so many things in the community, and I've become almost. I mean, I think I've started becoming like more and more conservative, just as things have changed in the world and within the LGBT community. Just some things that I don't know. I feel like as someone in the LGBT community, uh, the LGBTQ plus or whatever. There's so many different things now. They're calling us the alphabet people because before, when I came out at like the age of 23, I think it was, when I came out dealing with my sexuality, it was just gay, lesbian, bi. There were cross dressers, and then as I started learning more about transgendered people, I think that really kind of exploded in the 90s. I remember Janet Jackson being involved with some project. I think it was a film, and she was involved. I don't know if she was a producer or something, but I feel like this might have been around 2000, somewhere, maybe 2005. Uh, I feel like it was around that time period when, it then the transgender movement, it became intertwined within well, it was, it was gay, lesbian, bi, then, trans, um, just, and I think that so many things have changed within the LGBT community, and I feel like there's a lot of things that have happened that maybe even have turned some allies against the community. Just some things, and I do feel that the media has in some ways blown things out of proportion and used that you know uh, to further political you know biases. uh, you know like I hear stories about people, well, if a guy dresses up like a woman and goes in the bathroom, he could just do something to a woman or whatever. And I'm like, I don't think I've ever, honestly, ever heard of anything like that happening before. Um, I hate to be that guy, but a lot of the times, most of the time, when a lot of these things happen, it's usually not uh, people in the LGBT community. I mean, just like anything, we have people in the community that are bad, of course, just like with anything else. You have good people, you have bad people. But yeah, I've never heard of anything like that happening. But sometimes people will perpetuate myths and spread it and just kind of like. Now I have to admit that uh, I feel that there's a controversial thing that happened with Walt Disney and DeSantis in Florida with the "Don't Say Gay," and I do feel that there's been a push to bring things back to how they used to be when it was just more. It just seemed like it was more saner, or just, how do I put it, like more family value. Because I mean, you see people twerking out in the street now. You see kids twerking, and just I see a lot of things that the LGBT youth are doing, and maybe it's just not the LGBT youth, but what I see, being in the community for so long, some of the things have just disturbed me. And I feel sometimes that the community takes a blind eye. I mean, I feel that we've become bullies in some ways because we are so quick to, I guess, we don't really want to air out our dirty laundry. Um, but I feel that there's certain things that should be addressed. I mean, it's the LGBT Center is a it's a wonderful business, and I think that it does a great service for the community. But I do feel that sometimes I feel that maybe I don't know if the higher ups, I don't know if they know what's going on, some of the bad things that are happening. I mean, the center is a beautiful building. I worked there for a long time, and I just feel really frustrated. I feel like I'm on the front lines because I've been working with this company for such a long time, and I've seen changes. And they really put this building that I work in. It's a really, like I said, it's a beautiful building, but it's like in the worst area. It's like prostitutes and just people of questionable character hanging around. So this morning I went to the store to get me. I was buying like a soup and I was getting some toothpaste because I'm just about out. When you get to that point when you're just like trying to squeeze and there's hardly anything in it. So I had to go. I went to the grocery store last night. I completely forgot. So this morning when I was at, I took a little break during my patrol and I walked over to 7-Eleven because I figure at 5 o'clock there's not going to be anybody in there. Now, before I get to this part that happened, there was a group of trans prostitutes hanging out in near the building, which happens a lot. And one of them, like they started heading towards Santa Monica as I was walking over to another building to rotate, and they just like ran off together as a group, making a scene, being loud and rambunctious. And one of them just, this particular one, dressed in black. I think they were wearing like panties or something out. It's just really outrageous behavior, man. I tell you, but one of them just dropped this scooter, this electric scooter, like practically in the street. It was like in the street partially and also blocking a driveway. And so thinking to myself, man, could cause an accident or something, you know, and so this person, I encountered them 5 o'clock when I went into the store tonight, well, this morning, and they're like yelling at the cashier because of, I guess they're taking too long or something to help someone that they're with, and they're just like just being nasty, just going off. And so I went to the counter to pay for my stuff. So I'm trying to get back to the job as quickly as possible, because I'm not even supposed to be out there, telling myself. So anyway, this person starts yelling at me and cursing me out because I guess the cashier, because they had some stuff on the counter that they had left there. And they started like yelling at me and accusing, I guess they thought I was gonna steal their stuff, they were saying, which is like crazy. Because like a few moments before they like said hello to me when I walked in the store, and I don't know, it was just like they just completely flipped the script and were like yelling at me, and I didn't even know how to react because I was just taken off guard. And it made me just feel, so they anyway, they yelling at me, and then they yelled, I guess they yelled something at the cashier, I don't know, but they grabbed their stuff without even paying for it and just kind of ran out of the store. And I was like, wow, that actually happened. And there's other people in the store. I just felt like really embarrassed. Now, this particular 7-Eleven used to stay open 24 hours, as is customary with 7-Elevens, but things got so bad over in the area because of all these people hanging around of questionable character. Now the 7-Eleven closes at 11 o'clock every night. And it's really a pain in the ass for all of us that work or live over there, of course, because at night, you're limited by what you can buy. I mean, there are gas stations nearby, but it's not really the same. 7-Eleven is like the saving grace for the neighborhood now that that's gone. And just the neighborhood, just certain things in the neighborhood. You have these really nice condos, nice new condos that have come up over there. They're really trying to like make the neighborhood nicer, but you have a really bad element And I hate that this element is associated with the LGBT community. I mean, it really, and it frustrates me because I think, it's the same thing. I think you see neighborhoods with certain demographics, and the neighborhoods just go to hell. And it's like nobody on the outside would do anything about it, of course, because it's not really affecting them. They don't give a damn. But the LGBT community, I feel that there should be, it shouldn't be just like no man's land, and these elements that have become associated with the LGBT community, and some things that have happened over the years. And I think that people are starting to kind of get fed up. And I really believe in my heart that because of that part of why Donald Trump was able to win. Now I'm not. Um, I actually really feel that in some ways my interests not completely Democratic or Republican. I mean, I vote Democrat, but I really felt that I wish maybe voting independent might have just made more sense for my sensibilities and how I feel about things, because I may be a Democrat, but I don't believe in everything that the Democratic Party. I'm not completely like I'm not like a cultist where I just rah rah, completely. But and then Republicans, they say some crazy things, definitely, but I don't feel like they're like these monsters or these. I mean, I can understand where they're coming from, because I just feel like when you have power, which the LGBT community does have power. I feel that sometimes that power has been misused. It's gotten almost to the point where, and I feel really weird about saying this, but it's just like you take the X-Men for example. You have these mutants, and they have to stick together and fight against the rest of the world. And that's where the LGBT community is in a similar situation. But there's so many problems within the mutant community. Of course, the LGBT community has problems. It's like any community, and I feel like there's something morally that's been happening, man. And I don't know, maybe it's just not. It's just the whole world has changed a lot in the last 4 years. Since the big C happened, a lot has changed. I do feel that something spiritually is going on, and people have just kind of, I don't know, like even like the whole dating is just weird now, just how people relate to each other. And it just feels like somebody would, I hear people, when I talk about, I dream pretty frequently, and I talk about the people, and people are like, they don't really dream, and they don't, it's just something odd or unusual. And I don't know, I remember a time when people did dream more. I mean, I know it was, I don't know, it just feels like people are just have changed, and it's become the new normal to just be crazy and outrageous, or just anything goes. And I do feel that people have a right to be who they are, but sometimes uh, too much of anything is not good for anybody. I think it was Barry White that said that. I feel like, I guess I'm just kind of crying out to the universe, because like I feel like the LGBT community in some ways is just kind of like lost something, and it maybe it's become more about money and power, because I really feel like there's so many issues within the community that just are frustrating, and I don't really feel like it's being addressed. And I get frustrated sometimes, and I know there's no such thing as a perfect community, because every community has problems. But man, sometimes I just feel like look at other LGBT people, especially the youth, and I'm like, these are going to be the future, man. These people are going to be running things, and I don't like what I see, the raunchy behavior, the disrespectful, the attitude, and and God, and I know some straight people complain about some things that they see, and I don't know. Sometimes I think that they're right when they complain about certain things within the community, and I feel like we need community leaders. We need some people to like say, okay, look, maybe some things need to change because this is just not right. We're kind of moving away from what we had in the past, because as crazy as things were in the past, we had to fight for a lot of things that people take for granted now. At least we had each other, and I think that sometimes I feel like the same way about the black community. Like we don't have that unity that we used to have before, when we really had to come together to fight. And now I don't know if maybe people have become nonchalant, but I just feel like there's a blind eye being turned to certain elements, and you have these people that don't have any morality and just kind of like running around, and that's become like the normal thing. And I feel like there are people that just completely disrespect what the LGBT center, people within the LGBT community to disrespect. I feel that we should hold ourselves up to a higher standard, man. I mean, I feel like that. Uh, I remember when I used to live in a shelter years ago when I first came to LA. I used to always wonder why like people didn't get kicked out of certain programs for doing crazy things, or get put out. And sometimes it's about the money. And and also there's also, you want to help people um, dealing with their problems. You want to provide a safe space. But I don't know. You get to a point where it's like, okay, do you turn away people? You don't want to be associated with these people, certain elements. What happens to these people? I mean, it's just some things. It's just really kind of hard to find answers to. But man, when I look around and when I go to work and I see some of these elements, and I'm like, man, these kids that live here have to be exposed to this stuff, and it's become like normal to them. I had this really long conversation with the Uber Lyft driver this morning when I was coming home from work. We're talking. We had this really interesting, because he was saying, "Yeah, well, what do we do to change things?" This is a straight guy. We were just talking about stuff. I was just venting because I was just kind of like still rattled about this, crazy she male yelling at me and going off on me. And I went on Amazon this morning looking for pepper spray, man. Like really, I mean, because you know a few, I think it was last week, one of the kids that lives in the building, in one of the buildings that I do security in, was telling me, man, watch out for this one particular person, because it's a young person who has been just hanging out, and there's like certain elements outside that could like harm them, and just try to maybe keep an eye out for this person and try to look out for them. And that really, it touched me when they said that to me. So it's nice every now and then to be, to see goodness and positivity in the community, because I know not everybody's just this mindless automation or automaton. Just, there are people that actually have a conscience and a brain that, that care, because I don't see a lot of that in the community. And, when it gets to the point when you go to the store, you walk down in your neighborhood, and you got these like bad elements there, and it's just like people turn a blind eye, and it just becomes like the normal, and it's like it's all you see so often. It just starts to like change your point of view. It just really makes you almost like, these are my people. Like, are they really my people? And I feel like it's definitely getting time for me to start looking for somewhere, another place to work at. I mean, I really have been focusing on surviving. I think the last year really been kind of weird for me, just mentally, spiritually. But I've been really making an effort to get back focused on my art, because I'm a filmmaker, I'm a writer, and these are things that you know make me happy, help me express myself. And at the same time, it's what I would like to do for a living at some point. But when sometimes it's just rough when you got all this stuff going on, and it's just like noise, and you're trying to like stay focused. And so I guess that was just me. I just really wanted to just get this off my chest. I was gonna write, but I just figured I would just do something different this time and just talk because it made me feel a lot better this morning when I talked to the Lyft driver when I was coming home from work. And it definitely made me feel really good to play a video game, a crazy video game on my Xbox this morning just to kind of release some tension. But that's just me venting, me just being, being honest and open out to the universe. I feel like it's important. Definitely make me feel better, but maybe there are other people out there that might feel the same way or maybe be able to understand and relate to me. So anyway, I just got off work. I'm going to bed. It is almost 10 o'clock. So I have accomplished my goal, and that's it for now.